Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about how Chris Noth accused of sexual assault by a third woman? Let's get right into it. A third woman has come forward with sexual assault allegations against Chris Noth, and the Sex and the City actor has now also been dropped by his agency. In a report published by the Daily Beast, a woman who wished to remain anonymous but used the pseudonym Ava told the outlet that the actor, 67, had sexually assaulted her while working at a New York City restaurant in 2010. According to the outlet, she was 18 years old at the time. For those who need a little catch-up, The Hollywood Reporter published two separate accounts of women accusing Noth of sexual assault. One alleges she was assaulted at his West Hollywood flat in 2004, and the other claims she was assaulted at his Greenwich Village house in 2015. Both Zoe and Lily told THR that Noth assaulted them in front of a mirror from behind. The latest victim to speak out is a friend that the reporter of Daily Beast met at acting school, who first told her of her assault the day after it took place in 2010. The victim has been dealing with the horrible event since she was alone in a dark office with Noth many years ago. She came forward with her story after the Hollywood Reporter piece and offered a narrative of her assault that she claims were written in October of 2020. They were looking for a pretty hostess that could draw people to the restaurant and double as entertainment on nights where they had a pianist play Broadway show tunes. Ava explains about getting hired at Da Marino, located on 49th Street off of Times Square. At 18, she had just graduated from an acting conservatory and desperately needed side jobs to supplement her acting career, so the chance to sing was appealing. Ava says her job was to stand in front of the restaurant and convince passers-by to go inside. The goal is to fill the restaurant with enough patrons so that she could perform. She said, "The better I was as bait, the longer I got to sing." When Noth came to Da Marino, he was always intoxicated, claims Ava. "I cannot remember in detail how many times we spoke, but with great familiarity, one night he told my boss I would sing with him even though I hadn't filled the restaurant yet. They played characters in their song duets, and at his table, they talked about his career and her hometown of Toronto. I love Canadian women," she remembers him saying as he repeatedly pulled her onto his lap while groping her and pressing her onto his erection. She says it confused her at the time because, on some level, it was exciting. She was getting the attention of Noth, whom she'd watched as the iconic character of Big on Sex and the City. She said, "I remember how electrifying his hand, the hand I watched hold Carrie Bradshaw in Sex and the City, felt grabbing me." At the end of her shift, around 1 a.m., Ava's manager informed her that he'd pay her in the office, which was accessible by way of the kitchen. As she gathered her coat and envelope of cash, the light shut off behind her. She remembers that Noth had made his way into the office. She recounts, "He acted as if we had intentionally snuck off together clandestinely. Instead, she found him sloppy, heavy, and strong." She then shared, "At first, it felt as though I was the only person in the universe who could hear me saying no." She says Noth began kissing her and pressed her body against a desk. After pulling down her tights to digitally penetrate her, he felt her tampon. "I was so hopeful that would be the end of it," she remembers. Instead, Noth asked if she was at the end of her period and continued to grope her. She slid into an office chair to create more distance and pressed her arms and legs against his body, pushing him away. She explained he wasn't hearing no, but he heard me when I said not here, and convinced him that I would meet him somewhere else. The idea of relocating to his home inspired Noth to stop and gave her the opportunity to escape the office and his grasp. Noth promised to send a car once he arrived at his residence. Ava went home without intending to go when Noth left the restaurant. He texted her from his house, saying he was waiting for her and asking for her address, but she didn't respond. She called her parents the next day, who had made friends with the owners and management of Da Marino while in New York. They were taken aback as they listened to Ava's story, trying to make sense of a restaurant that they felt would protect her like family. When reached for comment, Noth's publicist said that Noth denies this as ever happening and has no idea who this woman is. While watching the documentary Jeffrey Epstein, Filthy Rich on Netflix, Ava identified a moment that felt familiar. An Epstein victim described the look of the flight crew as she walked off his private jet. A knowing look that seemed to communicate how they knew of his crimes and they too were complicit. She said, "I haven't been able to shake the memory of how the kitchen staff looked at me as I emerged from the office with Chris Noth." That's it for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss out on any future content we'll produce for you guys. We're signing off now, but we will be sure to catch you all in the next one.